Yes, people, like Martin Tyler says, we are live. Live Stories, episode 7. We're on our way. But before we start, people, let's hit the intro. Yes, people, welcome to Albert JTV. Welcome back to my Live Stories content series. Hashtag content with a difference. Joining me for episode 7 and for their time in the hot seat is at Lil Trigger 2, at Lottie _B, and at Loose TBH. Hashtag it's showtime. Yes, people, like I said before, we are live. Live Stories is back again. Episode 7. Hashtag, what shall I call it? Ladies' night. As you guys can see, I've got the finest assembled ever YouTube strike force, triple strike force in the history of Albert JTV and probably YouTube. But we'll get into it. People, smash the like button. Apologies for being a tiny bit late, but of course, technical issues during a live stream, it happens. But I've got my amazing panel here. So Live Stories, people. Like I said, smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. And as you can see, my amazing guests have got their Twitter handles going in their bottom in their screen and along the screen as well. Let's go to the chat quickly. Keith is in the chat. Keith, the squad is here. The squad is here. The number one squad is here. Guna Russ. I want to do Guna Russ. Guna Russ.
Oh no. My dad's in the chat.
Yeah. Guna Russ. You know what? I still haven't met Russ yet, you know. I can't believe it, man.
You haven't met him? You must be the only one who hasn't met him.
No, it's coming soon, Russ. It's coming soon, mate. DWT, thank you, my loyal supporter. Wow, the chat is getting lively, man. Look at people joining in. Look at yes, people. Of course, we've got YouTube and social media royalty as guests, so of course the chat's going to be lively. Melanie, big up to you as well. Thank you. Wow, what an introduction! What a start. So, let me introduce my first guest, the Marco van Basten of Penzance, an actual legend of a footballer. I can't wait to meet her when she comes down to the home game against Watford in the Premier League. G, my Penzance queen, how are you?
Yeah, I'm really good, thank you. And really excited for this one tonight. Thanks for having me back.
You know what? Welcome to the red carpet. Not just any old red carpet, the South East London red carpet.
The best.
And of course, I'm going to introduce my amazing second guest, of course. Northwest's finest. Not even a doubt. Northwest with capital letters. Lottie Van Totti, related to Francesco Totti, I've been told. That might be true, I'm not sure, but I call her that anyway. But Lottie, thank you once again for coming on to, Live Stories. Welcome aboard.
Yeah, no, thank you. I've watched every episode and I've absolutely loved it. So thank you for having me.
You know what? The heart is melting. Thank you. Unbelievable. And of course, last but not least, my first introduction to Albert JTV, to the red carpet. The artiste, I call her. I just made that up right now. Lucy, welcome aboard to Albert JTV. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited. You know, I hold you in very high regard on the podcast. I love hearing you, love your energy. So I'm excited. I really am.
Thank you. As I said on my last Live Stories, I am blushing, but you people can't tell because of the skin complexion, but it's fine. But people, to my audio listeners as well, I will put this on my IGTV and I'll put this on my Spotify and Anchor so you can listen to my dulcet tones. So let's get straight into it. Live Stories. This is something that came about last season. Just not even a brainstorm, just came into my head. Pop. Michael Aspel, 21st Century. So let's get into it. I'm going to kick off actually with my favorite from Penzance. First question. It's just a decent one. It's not bad. I'd like to get my guests and find out their Arsenal journeys, really, because everybody's different. It starts different for everybody. Some people go back to the Highbury days. Some people start at the Emirates era, depending on when you was born. But G, firstly, first memory of Arsenal and your worst and best memory. Hashtag Arsenal on the brain. Kick it off, my G.
Yeah, mine's a bit different. It's funny how this has come up today as well after the interview that came out earlier. But I'm the same. I used to just play football all the time. My whole weekends were just outside with my brothers and cousins playing ball. I literally never watched it on TV until Match of the Day was on. And yeah, I've said it before, but the only team that made me sit down and literally my eyes were glued to the screen was Arsenal. I always used to get goosebumps when we used to play that good football.
Long time ago, G.
Yeah. Fast flowing, all that. I am a Emirates era kind because, like I say, I was just out playing all the time. And to be fair, before 2006, I was still in primary school, so it wasn't really. I was just playing. It wasn't on my mind, and I wouldn't remember it if I'm honest. So there's no point saying that I did because I definitely didn't. Yeah, I mean, the first bad memory was obviously the League Cup loss against Birmingham.
Oh,
that's where it all started for
man.
me. And you know, at that point, that's when I sort of was like, yeah, Arsenal's my team. Like, they're officially my team now. And then it started like that, and I was like, well, here you go, start the worst. It can only get better, right? Alongside, probably the other worst one is would be Baku. That was just awful.
Don't say too much about that.
And I was so sad. It broke my heart. So yeah, they would be the worst. The best for me, it's got to be the FA Cup win against Hull. It was just a magical FA Cup game, wasn't it? With 2-0 down, I was literally sat watching it, like almost crying, thinking, "Great, here we go. Here's our chance, and we're throwing it away again." And then obviously the great comeback. It was just beautiful, and so that's got to be that winning something again after so long.
Yeah,
that's got to be
100%.
the number one moment for me.
No, good shout. I know what, it's funny you mentioned FA Cup final because I've got a very different memory of that, 2014. That has got to be, for me, the most unenjoyable watch that I've ever seen in the. I'm being serious. It just, the way Hull started the final, and it actually could have gone 3-0 up if it wasn't for the clearance off the line from, I think it was Alex Bruce. We started that final terribly.
I think I preferred the Villa final, if I'm honest.
That's nice. Yeah, nice final.
Yeah, I won't lie.
Yeah, but good. No, G, thanks for the good old insight into your Arsenal journey so far. I'm gonna come to Lottie actually. Lottie, hit me with it with your good times, bad times, all right times, possibly.
I think my first memory, I was one of the lucky ones who got to see the last few years of Highbury. I mean, walking into that East Stand, it was electric. And like where we were sitting, I think it was like second row. Don't remember what game it was. I've got the tickets somewhere, my paper tickets somewhere. But I was sitting there, me, my brother, my dad, and caught the ball, chucked it back to the legend himself, Dennis Bergkamp.
Oh, Dennis.
Later in that game, the ball came back again into that second row. And my brother wouldn't give the ball back to Thierry Henry. I will never forget that. He was 4 years old. I was killing myself last night. He just refused to give it back. Absolutely refused. I mean, it's one of my favourite ones. I don't remember the game though. Obviously, I was just like, just taking it in for the first time. But yeah, no, it's definitely something I won't ever forget. I think my worst to date at the moment. I travelled all the way up to Liverpool. We lost 5-0 away. Before the game was bad enough, but before it even started, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain off the spot kicks the ball at check. It comes flying at me. I just about got out the way with my beer in my hand. I was not impressed. Really not impressed. So that is, as an away fan, that is my worst memory. But I'm gonna have to agree with G on for a game wise, that cup final. It was just
Birmingham.
Was a sore one. Yeah.
Obafemi Martins. Oh God, I know he's a fellow Nigerian, but that day I was very angry.
Very, very angry.
Oh, Lottie, thanks for that, man. And of course, Lucy, to finish off this segment. Give us your rundown into the Arsenal history.
My Arsenal journey. Well, my parents actually met at an Arsenal match. They met at Ipswich away. So I suppose you could say if it wasn't for the Arsenal, I wouldn't be here, which is a bit crazy. But my first memory was my first game at Highbury, which was I'm told there's a bit of conflict between my mum and my dad. My mum says it was Arsenal Blackburn and we won 3-1. My dad says it was Arsenal Portsmouth where we won 4-0. But I feel like the stronger memory was with Thierry Henry scoring the hat-trick in the first half. So I feel like maybe that resonated with me a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the Highbury days. I do vaguely remember them. Like I was still very, very young, but lucky enough that I still got to go on the tour and I still got to like see a fair few games. So fortunate in that way. My worst memories.
God.
I don't know why Man United games just resonate with me because I feel like we take batterings off of the old Man United teams, but the four when we lost on penalties and they absolutely annihilated us off the park, we got bullied. And it was the back in the days where it was Vieira and Keane and Giggs, and they used to just torment us. And it was just that I feel like those days, the 8-2 loss against them just hurts a little bit more. But my favorite memory overall was probably Arsenal Tottenham when we came back to win against them 4-2, and I was there, and it just hits different. North London derby just hits different. So yeah.
Just, you know what, fantastic memories, all of you. I'm giving you virtual hugs as you can feel it right now. But no, for people that will probably see my life story series, I've obviously talking about this particular subject myself. I'll quickly go through it for people that might not know. But people, when I talk about my best memory, obviously I'm an 80s kid, and as Lottie probably knows, I'm 21 plus, sprinkle of VAT. Yeah, so 89 was amazing. I know we won obviously the Invincibles, but for me, the 97-98 season was incredible. And probably the most significant one is probably our last European trophy, because a lot of people weren't alive to see it. KC was still playing a righty, and the likes of Keown was suspended, and Tony Adams, and our amazing back five. And yeah, like for a club of our history to only have won 2 European trophies is a travesty, to be totally honest with you. My worst memory is obviously, it's not even the Champions League final. It's Baku. Obviously, like I said, I mentioned before, it's been a long time since we've had a lot of European success, and we've not been decorated in it, to be honest. So to not only miss out on the Champions League, to not actually get another trophy in the cabinet, I've never been so angry the day after a football match. I swear, people who know me for years have never seen me like that. I was so angry. And I felt for the fans because getting to Baku was a journey in itself for them Arsenal fans to go there. And to go and see that second half performance, especially, I could not believe what I was seeing for a final. I was disgusted. But you know what? I've got over it now, just to tell people that. Just what I've let people know that. But now, guys, thank you for the amazing memories. People in the chat, lively. Thank you for the interaction. Let's go on to the next one. This is quite a good subject to talk about, actually. I've got 3 amazing guests on me to talk about it. Women's football in the UK. What are the positives and negatives that you have seen in the growth of the women's game? # opportunities. Before I bring in Lottie with this one, I mean, myself, God, I remember the days when legends like Marianne Spacey, Hope Powell was playing, Sue Smith, who's a regular you'll see her on Sky Sports and BBC Sport, when these guys were playing football, and these guys got no coverage. I mean, I can't even remember when the games were on television, to be honest with you. And that's going back a long way. But yeah, I mean, if we go through sort of recent times, let me see if I can find my image. Where's it gone now? It's gone. I can't see it. Where's it gone? No, it's gone. Disappeared. Can't see it. No, it's gone. Oh, there it is. Yeah. So no, yeah, the game it's really, the growth has been incredible. I mean, if I saw a report from the FA report. I think it was the beginning of August this year. The FA took over the women's game in 1993. They reckon there's about almost 3 million players registered that play. Football is now the top participation sport for women and girls in England. We've seen, obviously, in the 2019-2020 season, Barclays with a new sponsor of the WSL. Largest ever commercial investment in the women's sport in the UK. And on top of that, they've had the broadcasting rights for Sky and BBC for 3 years, £8 million a season. That's not a conversation I thought I'd be having with you guys on the panel today in terms of the growth of the women's game. So yeah, coming to you, Lottie, what's your sort of memories of women's football, probably the early part, or how do you look at it now in terms of the question?
Do you know what? Growing up, I obviously knew names like Rachel Yankee, but I didn't actually watch women's football. I was watching the men's. I mean, I've been like sparsely watched the Arsenal ladies over the years, very sparsely, like maybe 1 or 2 games a season. But I started watching them properly this season, and they're actually just incredible. These girls score goals for fun, and it's just the growth of the game itself has been quite incredible. I mean, the more people talk about it, the more people are going to stop and watch. I mean, the men's, as Arsenal fans, we know the men's game over the years has been really difficult to watch.
Very difficult.
We had a very difficult start to this season, and I think I've only survived because I've enjoyed watching the ladies. They're top of the league. They, as I said, they score goals for fun, and it's just you never know where who's going to score or how they're going to do it. And there's just so much squad depth to us at the moment as well. It's going to be a very good season coming up against the likes of Barcelona in the Champions League and everything else. I think well, for us personally, it's going to be really good. But the game is growing. I think the other night, I saw Sol's tweet the Champions League game. There was 18,000
on Daisy. The figures. Yeah, it was
18,000 people watching, and I was one of them. So it's definitely growing. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what happens on the 9th of December when Barcelona come to the Emirates.
Yes, people, if you haven't got your tickets yet, then get your tickets in. I mean, I definitely want to go. And obviously, as people might know, I've taken a partial liking to a certain centre-back at Arsenal ladies. I've made no secret of that, to be honest. So, yes, Leah Williamson, if you're listening, then yes, I'll come and see you soon. But no, touch on what Russ said before I bring in Lucy. The improvement's been incredible, and I think also as well, I think it's important that the national team does well. I mean, I've seen an amazing growth from the 2015 World Cup with Mark Sampson. They got to the semi-finals and end up finishing 3rd place. Semi-finals in the European Championship. Obviously, that's England managers now. Serena Wiegman, who's a very, very top-class coach. And obviously the World Cup 2 years ago with Phil Neville. In my personal opinion, I thought I'm not sure how much he progressed them, but that's another bone of contention. But Lucy, what's your sort of thoughts in terms of the question in terms of women's football?
So like yourself, I only started watching women's football maybe about a year or so ago, and only when it was sort of accessible to watch. Just because obviously it's so uplifting to see these girls with such passion despite the lack of coverage they've had to face over the years. Like obviously, like Rachel Yankee was mentioned, like that sort of thing. You hear those names sort of floating about, but not in any way contesting the men's game and how much that's grown over the years. So it's good to see that finally they're getting some recognition for all of their hard work and their passion, and the fact that they're actually getting the stage as well. They're getting to play at the Emirates for the Barcelona game. That's massive. And I feel like we really need to give them their credit, because while there's been a lot of drama going on behind the scenes at the club, all of the ESL, they just put their heads down and just carried on going. So I feel like they deserve all the credit that they get. They're one of the best women's teams in the world, in my opinion. And they score goals for fun. You're absolutely right, Lottie. They just look like they enjoy their football so much, and it's just a pleasure to watch. 100%.
No, good shouts, man. Big up the women's game. I mean, even
100.
Looking at some of the figures, even I think the first, if I'm right, the first FA Cup final in terms of that's contested at Wembley was 2015, and then they had record attendance in 2019 for Man City versus West Ham, 43,000 plus. I mean, you could come up with a million different figures, but it has improved incredibly. I'm going to bring in G. Before I bring you in, obviously, big up to Jonas Ideville and Beth Mead, Manager of the Month and Player of the Month. Not biased, obviously, because obviously they're Arsenal, but they got the awards. What could you do? They got given the awards. So bring you in, G. What's your thoughts? Obviously, the amazing football you are as well, G.
I mean, I hope now that they realise that there is a demand for it. It's not just the girls that want to watch the girls play football.
Yes.
And it's not just the men wanting to watch it for a certain reason as well. They actually want to watch it because it's good quality gameplay. Some of the goals they're scoring and some of the players all these clubs are now attracting is amazing. But I do think it really has kicked off from the success of the England team in their last tournaments, as you say.
100%.
Because they were actually on TV I don't think they were on BBC One, but they were on like,
ITV4.
Yeah.
First time that they're international. Yeah, incredible.
Yeah. So it was it was accessible at that time, and we actually progressed, which is more than the men had done at that point, obviously. And then successful tournaments as well. And then people were starting to really think, oh, actually, this is quite good. And then it does go into the leagues, and then naturally you do follow the team that you actually support. I couldn't imagine watching anyone else bar the Arsenal.
Sure.
So yeah, I just think finally now they're listening, and they, like you say, they've had the FA Cup games, being like sellout crowds and everything, and sellout. No, sorry, not sellout, but the like highest viewers as well. So they know that people do. They're not just ticking a box by putting it on. There is an audience for it, and we want it. But yeah, so far this year, you can't fault it. It's been so many games been available on.
It's amazing. It is.
BBC One at some stage, some of the FA Cup games.
Yeah.
Obviously, Sky are showing them not at the same time of what the men are, so you can sort of. Whereas before, it would either be at the same time as the men and not on TV, or either or really. But now they're sort of putting the schedules around each other, so you can flick between the two, because naturally everyone's going to go watch the men anyway, aren't they? Like I am. I'm not going to lie and say I wouldn't. I would always prioritize the men's game, but now it's just so nice to see that people are taking their time to find out who the players are and the manager and everything, and make the time to watch it as well. It's really nice to see.
It is, big up the women. Yeah, it's amazing in terms of the coverage. Like I said, they've got the highlight show, which kind of was the first thing before they got the contract for the live football to be screened on the broadcasting channels. But I mean, even the World Cup semi-final 2 years ago against USA, I must admit I've got own personal favourite. I love Ellen White. I think she's an amazing striker. Love her. Not even Arsenal, but I love her. That semi-final against USA. I mean, a few in figures, 11.7 million watched that semi-final against USA. That is incredible.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. It's a hell of a lot. Like I said, the talent pool, the women, obviously our very own Kim Little, people like Fran Kirby, legends like Farrah Williams, who's I think is recently retired now. I remember Farrah Williams when she first started playing football. That's how old I am. So, Farrah Williams, a London girl, so you're partial to liking to her as well. But no, it's been an amazing growth, and it's great to get you guys' opinions, and long may it continue. Like I said, in terms of the national team, they've got Serena Wiegman there, who comes with a massive rep. I think she won the Euros of Holland in 2017. So I know the England girls looking forward to working with her. So guys, thank you for your amazing input. People, like I said, don't even touch the like button. Smash the like button straight away if you haven't done it already. But before we get into the next question, people, if you don't know what to do by now, you should know what to do. And there you have it, people. Serene sound music on a Friday night. Who needs Coronation Street Part 2? So before we move on to the next question, I'm going to kick off this time with G, actually. Before I come to G, I'm gonna give my little 2 pennies worth about this. Who is the one Arsenal player that you've never got to see play that you would have liked to have seen play? For me, obviously, when I talk about past players, I've had Kesh and Gunas Oles on Live Stories quite a while ago, and we did our World Best 11s. But I said to them, do it on the ones you've seen. No point me having a World 11 with Pele and Gordon Banks. I wasn't allowed to see them play. There's no point. But so yeah, with Arsenal player, I mean, the one person I've been told about and seen videos of and heard about so much is Liam Brady. I'd have loved to see him play. I mean, you guys have been to the Emirates before the Arsenal players come out for the game. They got the VT and it shows all the history of the Arsenal players, Charlie George and Adams, and there's that shot of Liam Brady, that goal against them lot down the road. I was going to say something else, but this is my time. I'm not going to swear too much. But when he smashes one of his left foot in the top corner, at the time, if you find it, there are other search engines out there apart from, Google. But the commentary at the time also summed up how good the goal was. I think it was John Motson at the time brilliant. Liam Brady would have loved to see him play. But, gee, coming to you, any Arsenal player to mind for you, like, oh, never got to see him play. I would have loved to have seen him play.
It's so hard to say one. Like, it's mad hard to say one.
Only one, G.
And I don't really remember watching any of the Invincibles, to be honest. But you can sort of understand what they were. But for me, I listen to my dad a lot. Like, he's watched it for years.
Go on, Pops.
He brings me into it and everything. So, and he actually tells me how good Paul Merson was. And he's not afraid to, like, chat crap about people. But he always tells me, even though he's not a fan of him as a person, what he does now. He always tells me how, like, insanely good he was. So I think I'd really like to, like, witness that, to be there as a midfielder too. I think
good shot. Do you know what? Merson was a baller. Sauce.
Yeah.
Trust me.
I don't want to just say the obvious answers. So
no. Merson's
out the box.
Merson is a good shout. Merson is a flipping good shout. That's what I'll say. So when I come to Lucy, actually, I know you're spot for choice in terms of players, but you tell me who.
Absolutely. I would have to go with. I'll give you my top three. Would be Rocky Rocastle. I would have loved to watch him play. Again, like you said, Liam Brady, it's one of my dad's heroes. Would have loved to see him play. And I'm sure I must have seen him play at some point, but I don't know if I was too young to remember or if it was on loan to the Orient. But my guy Kevin Campbell, who I get to do the podcast with, I would have
tasty.
Yeah, absolutely. Because like to be able to remember what he was like as a player then and then compare it now, obviously I can only go and watch video clips, but yeah, it would be interesting. It's just I can't recall in my brain. Obviously, I was a bit too young, but yeah. Good
shout. Yeah, I mean, you gave me three, but that's fine. Gee, I might even give you another one to just make you feel a bit better. But it's fine. Lottie, it's come to you, man. No, it's a difficult question to answer actually, depending on your age generation, but because there's so many that you could think of. I mean, I was lucky. Obviously, I was alive to see Wrighty play, and I saw. Anybody who's seen Premier League legends, Ian Wright. This guy was a sick striker. That's not even being biased. Some of the goals that guy used to score, people in the chat will tell you. £2.5 million. Wow. Lottie, go on. Sorry, your turn.
It's all right. Don't worry. No, it's got to be David Rocastle. I mean, I've only ever literally he was. I mean, 89 was 3 years before my time, but I never got to see him play. And I've literally read the autobiography inside and out. I've watched the YouTube videos, and it's the one player I'd love to see play, but sadly we're not ever going to see play again, unfortunately.
Yeah. No, good shout. Rocky Rocastle, of course. Rest in peace, man. Ledge. Absolute ledge. I think we've all said it. Yeah, and people in the chat come up with some good names, boy. Yeah, right. He was just sick, man. I had to give a shout out to Casey and Ian Wright with a beautiful picture for Black History Month. Massive part of my growing up as a young black kid in Southeast London. Casey, if you're listening, love you, brother. Amazing times. But yeah, let me get onto the whizzing through these, isn't it? Oh, let's go through. Right, I'm gonna kick off with Lucy. This one. This is there's quite a few layers to this question, but it has to be asked. How have you found your experience as a female being part of the football, YouTube, social media world? And I'll broaden that out even further. Probably even to your match day experience as a fan. I've been told certain things by females in terms of their experience going to football, and it ain't too pleasant. So it's a loaded question, but give me your thoughts. # good and bad.
Good and bad. I mean, it's difficult because as a female growing up in sort of school, it was very rare for any other girls to like football. I don't know if either of you experienced it, but it always used to be like, oh, why are you talking about that? You don't know nothing, blah, 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 blah. Whatever, it's calm. So I kind of, the Arsenal community itself can be quite toxic, admittedly, whether you're male or female, it can get kind of techie. But so I just stayed out of it up until about last year when I started doing about a few months ago when I started doing the podcasts. but the reception that I've got has actually been really positive. Like, obviously, you're always going to have people that disagree with what you're saying, no matter what your gender.
Yeah.
You're always going to get very opinionated people, but it's what it's all about. Like, it's everyone's got their own opinion. It's part and parcel of football, and we all think we're a manager. We're all managers of the sofa downstairs, isn't it, when we're watching the game? So it is what it is. But good. The good side is that it's been very accepting on the online aspect. As far as like YouTube and Twitter have gone, I don't really get too much. Obviously, like, you get the odd sort of comment on your looks, which I feel like I get a lot more comments based on my looks rather than what I'm actually talking about, which is a bit irritating at times. But overall, I've met some lovely people, so can't complain really.
Yeah. Would you say, before I come to Lottie, would you say, now that you're sort of doing more of the podcasting side of it, and obviously we do Lee Judges TV as well, big up Lee for giving my chance on there, do you find the scrutiny, do you find it a little bit more, or do you not think about it too much?
There's always going to be a few ignorant people. This is the thing, and I like to weigh up. So the strangers that are making the passing negative comments compared to the people that I've got to meet because of the podcast, like Lee, Dan, yourself, like Mike, everyone, is just it makes it all worth it. So you ignore the strangers who like the trolls and whatnot, and focus on people like yourself who are much more positive.
Well, I'll try to be. It's not easy.
Very positive, man.
Very positive. It's not easy. Yeah. Social media aspect of it, and combine that with YouTube, it's not easy, which I'll touch on after I get the view of my two amazing other panelists as well. Coming to Lottie, yes, hit me with your thoughts. Like I said, hashtag good and bad.
You know, I've only been doing this a couple of months myself. I mean, I literally came back on Twitter in May, I think. Yeah. I'd been off for a couple of years. I just got bored of it at the time. Obviously, Arsenal Twitter is a lot bigger than it was, say, maybe 7 or 8 years ago. And it just really just started chatting to people about football, getting my opinions out there. Yeah. And then I got invited on to Round the Keeper podcast. We were just doing that for fun at the time. And then obviously along came Cannon Chow, which is my home, and obviously my family. And it's looking. And
you're before you carry on, Lottie, and you're smashing it as well. That's Friday. You're smashing it, bro.
Thank you, Hubs. And I mean, I'm fortunate, and then that I've had 1 or 2 idiots in terms of trolls, but the guys I follow and the people that follow me are always positive, always supportive, and it makes it worth it. You can't let a troll ruin your day. This is exactly what Lucy said. I mean, you just got to focus on the positives and move on. And as for being like a home and away fan, I've always been all right going to the grounds, coming out. I've never had any abuse. Well, maybe apart from that one time at Norwich this season, which was dealt with by Arsenal. Thank you to them. Yeah. So
no, 100%. Let's see. Let's read. Let me just put Gary's message there before I come to G. Go on, Gary. Yeah. Gary, you're one of them as well, mate. Supporter from day dot. Much love, brother. All the way in the stateside there. Albert JTV hitting stateside. Jesus Christ, mate. Wow. Shocking myself. So, G, let me come to you. Let me hear your sort of thoughts in regards to sort of the question and the positive and negative side of it, because I think it's important to reflect both sides. Yes, I understand people's experiences are very different, as Lucy and Lottie eloquently put. So what's your sort of thoughts on the question?
Just that I feel extremely fortunate that I've not come across anything aimed towards me, like personally. There's been obviously stuff written about girls and football in general, which always gets me inside riled up, but I'll never express that, because it's just them. You know, it's just there for the taking, isn't it? Yeah. But I don't remember a time where I've had anything like privately sent to me, or any sort of comment that's popped on like some of the videos that I've been on, saying like, "Oh, what's she talking about?" And I'm the same with Lottie. Like the little community we sort of have, I think we all generally follow the same sort of people, and they're all wonderful, and including yourself. And we know that if anyone was to even say a thing to us, we would have the support from the people around us that know us and know that we know what we're talking about.
100%.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm very lucky, and it's not to say that I expected to have something said about me or anything, but I do like to think that I actually, I understand what I'm saying, and I won't just put anything out there randomly. And I always believe in what I'm saying. So I guess maybe if it comes across that way, then people won't really jump on it and think, well, what's she on about, if they disagree. So yeah, I mean, my story about coming to Arsenal, but I've been going to Plymouth since 2003.
Yes.
So I was
Big up
tiny.
Plymouth. Big up
I was
Plymouth.
really tiny. The first time I went was with my boys' football team. I was the only girl. And even up until last week, I've never had one thing bad said to me. I've had people, I've been squished in with my dad one side of some random like boys in front, boys in front, boys to the side, everything. And I've never once has anyone said why are you here, or said anything.
Yeah.
We're all just sat there, don't even recognize each other. You just get on with what's happening. So I'm very lucky. I've had it more towards actually playing myself and hearing things in a pub and stuff, but nothing that I ever really take personally either, to be honest. So yeah, just really, really grateful, and I hope it stays that way. Because you never know.
You three have answered the question superbly. Let me get Mr. Silver Fox questions there. Fair play, ladies. These trolls are just brain dead idiots, locked away in their shoebox, bedroom on their phones, with nothing going for them. You're all smashing it. Keep it up. Mr. Silver Fox, thank you, my bro. Yeah, 100%. And I'll add further to what you guys have said, and I'll give my little Winston Churchill speech afterwards. But yeah, listen, it went male or female, but I would say, you know what, fair play to you ladies, and obviously some of the other ladies I've come across in terms of YouTube, not necessarily just even Arsenal fans, but females of other football clubs who I get on with very well. Even my Tottenham wife, who's feeling a bit of pain at the moment. But oh, what a beautiful day was on that channel. Oh, it was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
I can imagine.
That was a good show.
I will share it again. It was beautiful. But no, but let me not digress away from that. But no, to big up to you three. I'm going to say you three, obviously, because I've got you on the panel. But yeah, fair play, because you know what? I'm not blind, man. Man sees some of the comments in the comment section on videos, on fan cams, Twitter, and I'm like, wow. If you really want to ask someone out on a date, for example, that's not the best way to go about it. But it's not the best way at all. But no, no, fair play to you, because you know what? Like people say, when you go to your place of work, for example, you don't expect to go there and get abused. Why should you? So Twitter and social media and Instagram, the same thing shouldn't apply. So fair play to you, because some of the nonsense you ladies have to put up with is, how can I put it politely, is a little bit deplorable, to be totally honest with you. And all for what? Because of your love for or passion for sport, Arsenal, a particular footballer. It shouldn't make a difference. Is it going to get any better? That's a wider question for these social media companies to pull their finger out and do the necessary steps to eradicate this. Maybe not completely, because as Silver Fox said, you're still going to get mindless idiots in their little small shoe boxes, as he put it. But no, fair play to you. For myself, I've been very, very fortunate. Very. The only kind of negative I probably had is anything in regards to do with a certain footballer that's played for Arsenal, called Mesut Ozil, where some Arsenal fans just they've still even shared the videos now. The guy's gone. He doesn't play for us anymore. Highlight reels. I just think, come on, man, you're doing it to yourselves. But anything you say about certain players, it just triggers them incredibly. I'm like, wow, so I don't
very easily triggered. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, go on, Lucy. Go on.
I just say, like, it's a competitive sport. You're gonna get criticised if you play badly. I don't support Mesut Ozil FC. I don't support Mikel Arteta FC. I support Arsenal, and what I want is to win. I want to see us do it well. So if you want to abuse me for criticising a player on a mistake they made in a game, it's their job to take criticism. I'm not going to spread toxic positivity and say, but those don't put the players down when it. No. You had a bad game. We criticize you for it. Improve next time. We move on. Yeah. It's an opinion, but it's all. Everyone's very easily triggered whenever you say anything.
I'm laughing. No, fair play. No, it is. It's a mad one. With Twitter especially, and sort of social media side of it, Instagram and Twitter are very, very different. Twitter's a minefield. Like I said last time, to the guys, Simu and Tom and Rowan, I said, you know what? One thing I don't tweet about is politics, and two, I don't digress or get too involved in any type of argument. I just don't. It's very rare you'll see me on the Twitter timeline having war of words and expletives and you something this, and you'll never see me doing that because you know what? I enjoy my life too much. Be wasting my oxygen. You know what? And I like my fingers. I want to be tapping away, talking rubbish. So it's not really worth it.
You can never win anyway. You'll never win.
You can't win. You can't. You cannot win. So people just, if you want to go and have a coffee and watch news at 10, whatever you want to do in your spare time, it's fine. Just chill. It's fine. But let me get my bonus question into you guys, because you know what? I like to kind of spice it up a little bit. Actually, no, let me leave the bonus question to last. Actually, let me get the next one up. nothing too juicy, but I'm gonna come to that at the end. Yeah, sorry. So I'm gonna start with G first. Actually, score prediction for Crystal Palace. I'm gonna throw another question in with that, so it's gonna be like a triple threat question to you through my free paddle. So yeah, score prediction for Palace. Your standout Arsenal player so far this season. And I'll give you the third question after you've asked them too.
Okay. I'm gonna play it safe for once with my prediction and just go like a 1-0. I'm not gonna be too crazy. Because just based on previous games against them, and they're actually looking quite good this year. Vieira's not gonna sit down and let us have a win easily, is he? He's gonna want to prove that he is worth his role. Against his old club. So yeah, I think it's going to be a really, really tight game. And my standout player this season.
So far, so that could change very much. So after
yeah, probably will.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to just go with Tommy.
Yes.
I think he's just been. I know he hasn't been there since the very start. I think it's only a couple of games.
Like you can only go by what you've seen this season. Yeah, that's
yeah. But for me, he's just literally come in out of nowhere. I didn't know him and just made the role his. Like I wouldn't think of anyone to put him in front of him. Like he's it for me. I don't think about anyone else that might potentially be in that position. It's always he's there. So I'm going to go with him. Just really impressed.
You know what? Before I come to my other two panel, I'm going to add like a third part to the question because I like to be like that sometimes, because it's a Friday night. But you know what? I call him Toma, not just Toma Yasu, Toma flipping Yasu. Put some respect on his name. But no, I'm gonna. No, you know what? Because I saw sometimes I pay attention to some of these other, the noise and distraction of other fan channels who support other clubs, and little bit of noise they create sometimes, and Tomiyasu, he's maybe wasn't that good against Brighton. I said, listen, let's just relax. This is the Premier League. It's supposed to be difficult. Sometimes fullbacks, whether they're new to the league or not, will get tore a new one. It happens. 60 minutes against Norwich, he did very well. Tough opponent in Dwight McNeil against Burnley, done his thing. Kept, the main man from the other side of London, Hon Min Sun, quiet
in his pocket.
Yes, he's still in the pocket.
Exactly.
So you know what, Cucurella for the guy for Brighton, very good game 2 weeks ago. But you know what, even in the second half, if anybody remembers the game very well, Tommy actually did well. He did well. You learned it. You got Torrey one in the first half, very difficult. But listen, it's not supposed to be easy. New to the league, 22, 23, I think he is. From what I've seen, he's done all right. So G, you know what? Big up to you, my Penzance queen. Brilliant. Let me come to Lucy. It's all the same question to you. Score prediction for Palace, and obviously your player, standout player, and you can't choose Lacazette.
Yeah. Why you gotta do me like that? Why you gotta do me? No. Score prediction. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a really difficult game, and I think 1-1, end to end, 1-1, sweaty draw. You know what I mean? And then standout player of the season so far, I would have to say, since I can't say my husband Lacazette, no, probably Gabriel, because my guy, we missed him badly. This guy loses teeth. He gives it everything. He's solid. His interceptions are crazy. Yeah, Gabriel for sure. He's really shown how much we missed him when he was injured, man. So fully.
Now, Lucy, respect with Gabriel. I'll tell you why, right? I was on a couple of fan channels last season in terms of Arsenal, and certain fans who seem to, love certain players and they can't do no wrong. And he was sort of being particularly not so complimentary about our beautiful Brazilian centre-back, Gabriel, saying, I reckon, maybe he's just not that good. I thought, are you feeling all right? Do you forget when he came to the Premier League last season? Was he not Arsenal's player of the month for the first 3-4 months of the season? I forgot about it. I said, well, there you go. That tells me everything I need to know. How can you conveniently forget him?
And do you know what? Special mention to Ramsdale as well, because I can't not say it. All the abuse that this guy got when he hadn't even put on an Arsenal shirt yet, and he has come through. He's now our first choice keeper, and he doesn't. I mean, I've seen him make maybe 1-2 mistakes in about 3 games. So fair play to that guy, because he did not let it phase him whatsoever.
Let me rename him, Lucy. Aaron Rambo Ramsdale. Look at him, the way he just commands the box. All he needs is a headband. No, brilliant. Now fair play, because he did get a lot of criticism. And like I said when we was on the hybrid squad, Lucy, I said one thing. If you people remember, I've never seen a player when he signed for Arsenal so happy. Honestly, and that brought a smile to my face, and I smiled a lot.
To be here, yeah, fully. Yeah. It's nice to see someone that has that much passion for the club, and
100%. Yes, our back five, ladies, our back five. The man that mean business this season. So, Lottie, I'll come to you. Same question to you, really. What's your thoughts for Palace, and obviously your standout player, actually?
First off, when Vieira comes back at a stadium, is going to be absolutely electric on Monday night. I cannot wait for it. I cannot wait. I am absolutely buzzing. It's the only reason I decided to go to that game. Vieira's coming home. End of. Right, I'm going to go for 2-1. I have a feeling Zaha's out for blood. So, but I think Ramsdale's going to keep us covered. But I'm going to go play it safe. Go 2-1. Arsenal win. My stand-up player this season so far has got to be Smith Rowe. I mean, watching that goal go in against that lot up the road in the clock end, incredible. Even the other two were great, but for Smith Rowe to bag his first North London derby goal, it was beautiful, honestly. I mean, clock end was bouncing for the full 90 minutes. Couldn't speak for 2 days after that, but it was worth it. So worth it.
Lottie, you're so right, because as much people who know me very well know I'm not shy for talking. So it's very for me to not speak for 2 days. Something's got to be wrong with me, North London derby. But
I mean, I think you called me 2 days after, and I was croaking. I said, "Look, I can't talk."
It was.
I hung up on you.
The atmosphere was incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I watched Smith Rowe for England, and he's finishing, and it's coming along nicely. He just needs to bring that back to us now. You get some more in the net.
Very well said, Saka. ESR, if you're listening, all the other 500 Arsenal players that went on international duty and scored, put the red shirt on and do the same.
Aubameyang, Pepe,
all of them. Yeah,
all of them.
Madness.
Start taking some shots. I think they need a bit more freedom to start taking those shots.
Literally, if you're ever sitting on the halfway line, just watch Arteta. He's an absolute control freak. When I was at Wimbledon, I was watching him. He was telling them what to do from the sidelines, and they just need to ignore him and get on with their game. I'm not even joking.
Yeah.
He's standing there and he's pointing at, do this, do that, and I'm just like, let them play. Shut up.
Yeah, it was funny because I remember I don't know what I was watching. I can't remember his live stream I was watching, and someone put something quite funny in the chat. They're talking about Thomas Partey shooting, And they're saying about the pigeon at Brighton's still recovering from cracked ribs from Thomas Partey's shot. But yeah, I can see a classic thing of people in the chat. People remember John Jensen. Jesus,
You got to admit though, he's getting closer and closer to the back of that goal though. Like they're coming lower.
You know what?
There have been a few low ones this season.
Bro, just let him play rugby. Just let him play rugby, innit? It's what he wants to do. Put him in the NFL or something. I don't know.
No, he will hit a screamer one day. But no, my thoughts. When I looked at the 4 fixtures at the time, by the way, so Brighton, Palace, Villa, and Leicester, I said we get 8 points out of 12. I said we get a draw against Brighton, and we did. I said we get a draw against Palace, and we win our next 2 games. 8 out of 12 for this Arsenal side has the way they've played this season is actually a pretty decent return if they actually go and do it. I do think it'd be pretty tight against Crystal Palace, but I actually think it'll be a draw. So yeah, and also just to ask you guys, in terms of points, the next 3 games, what do you think Arsenal's points return will be? So Palace, Villa, and Leicester. So I'm going to come back to G again. Tricky question, isn't it, G? Tricky.
Yeah. I think I'm going to go with 7.
Decent. Okay. Beat Palace? Draw?
Yeah.
Okay.
Possibly a draw against Leicester, I think, more than anything.
Okay, well, that's good. No, 7 out of 9 is a good return. It's a good return. I'm gonna come to Lucy, actually. What are you saying, Lucy? What are you saying?
I'd say 5. I reckon we'll get a draw at Palace, beat Villa, and then a draw at Leicester. I'm really hoping we get a draw at Leicester because that's always a really difficult game for us. So I'm hoping we can pull at least a point out of that game. But
yeah, they haven't got their act together as
they're
yet.
looking a bit shaky, you know.
They're
looking a bit shaky.
They are. No, good shout, ladies. And Lottie, to finish off, what are you saying out of 9 points?
It's gonna have to be a 7 for me. I mean, as Lucy just said, Leicester away is never fun. I can't remember. I think the last time I was up, I actually went to a Leicester away game. We beat them 5-2, and that was the season they came up. Any other time I've been up there, we've lost. So I've stopped going. Going. So I'm going to keep with the 7.
No, there's just 5. And I said, what did I say? So I said, so mine will be 7. Yeah. So yeah, 7 out. So listen, they get 7 out of 9. I'll be happy. 9 out of 9. Christmas has come early.
I love 9 out of 9. I hope I get proved wrong, man.
No, of course. We want Arsenal to cut many points as possible. But people in the chat, I've got one more question from my amazing triple threat, amazing panel. So get your virtual waves in because I like to get virtual waves to my guests because they deserve it for being amazing panelists. But last question. So curveball question.
Oh.
And it's probably quite appropriate because we're playing Palace on Monday. I'm going to kick off with Lottie, actually. It's going to come up in a second now. Pepe or Zaha?
I thought it was going to be this.
Yeah.
I did think that. I did think this. When you mentioned Zaha before, I was like, oh, yeah, you know what?
Yeah. Lottie, before you come in, Lottie, I mean...
This is an easy answer for me.
It depends what side of the fence you sit on, because obviously there's a lot of Arsenal fans that are very vehement in their thoughts that they wanted Zaha, from Emery days, to be honest with you. But we got Pepe. A lot of Arsenal fans did want Nicolas Pepe. Whether they're actually going to come out and admit it is another question. But a lot of Arsenal fans did want him because he came with a good rep, good season, good time in League One with Lille. But yeah, what's your thoughts on that question?
It's not, as I said earlier, this is a nice, easy one for me. If we were going to buy Zaha, we would have bought him years ago. End of story. Yeah. I mean, he's kind of just stayed at Palace and that was it for him. And he's not going to go anywhere. I can't remember how old he is off the top of my head, but it would be Pepe all day. Never heard of Pepe before he came to us, but
yeah.
Do you know what? Fresh blood is fresh blood. We've seen what Zaha can do. Everybody knows what he does. And it's just uninteresting.
Yes, it's an interesting one, man. Because I don't know before I come to G, with Pepe, it's with Pepe. He creates a lot of talk amongst Arsenal fans, man. When I went to that Norwich game, I thought the guy took money out of people's wallets the way some of the Arsenal fans are carrying on. But no, the thing is,
I think it's the price tag that's the issue.
Yeah, it's to me, I just find that a little bit lazy though. Generally speaking, in football, people come out the price tag. But I think even when he came on the other day against Brighton, Mikel Arteta got to put him with the right. I just think, oh, for goodness sake, man, it drives me mad. But
Albert, we've had this discussion before.
Yeah,
we know Saka scores from the right. I love it. I love him on the left, but we know he scores from the right, so it makes sense. It's either Saka or Pepe on the right. So.
Okay, G, before I come to you, G, I've said this. People who've seen my content or asking my thoughts about Zaha, no, I'm not his biggest fan, to be totally honest with you. People are like, what? I'm like, yeah, I said it. Like, I'm not his biggest fan. Like, I'm not gonna blow smoke out our footballer's ass because 70% of the fan base want him at Arsenal. That's not how I operate, man. Like, for me, I look at him and I think, for the amount of time you've been in the Premier League in terms of your goals return, I'm like, people always say, oh, but he plays for Palace. I'm like, yeah, I understand that, but there's, if off the top of my head, someone like a Matt Letizia played for a club that wasn't a top 10 club, scored a shed load of goals for a team that wasn't supposedly, a top side. So that's kind of my sort of argument off the top of my head to that. But I've never been the biggest fan of Will Zaha. Yes, he's got the aggression, which I think someone like a Reece Nelson lacked in terms of showing a bit more development when he got in the team. But yeah, I've never been sold on Will Zaha personally. I think his attitude stinks. That's my opinion. Yeah, G, you come in. Do you tell me what you think?
Literally the same. It's his attitude, and it's not in a good way. Like some people think, an attitude is good sometimes, which it can be, but done the right way. And he doesn't even play for us, but it winds me up so much when all you ever see him is throwing his arms around and basically screaming because he got flicked and didn't get a free kick.
Oh, you can't tackle him. You can't tackle Wolf.
That would still, regardless if he was playing for someone else or us, that would still piss me off. Like, just get on with your game. Like, just get on with it. Like, you look like a girl. Like, it's just, you're supposed to be a man. You're supposed to be established Premier League player now, and you're still crying.
I'm going to butt in. There. Sorry, our girls don't even do that. So you can't compare.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, that's when you watch the women's, they're actually strong, and as soon as they get hit, they get straight back up again, or they get snapped, and they're absolutely, they're fine.
Yeah.
That's what. So just a no for him for me, and it just bores me every summer that we go in for him, because as soon as he turns up and has one bad game, everyone will hate him and think, what's the point? So
yeah.
Why?
G, you know what, G? You came with fire for that question, man. I felt my eyelashes burning. Incredible good answer. But no, Russ mentioned it in the chat earlier about in terms of like the women's game, sort of going back to that very quickly. One thing I do love about the women's game, you're not getting under that rolling around on the floor. I mean, that England game, I'm sorry. I saw that I'm with Luke Shaw. I'm sorry, he didn't even touch him. The guy's rolling around like he got shot. Holding his head, he's rolling around on the floor. Oh my God.
It's embarrassing.
And we've got VAR.
Yeah.
And it was still given. So one thing about the women's game, they don't do that cheating and rolling around, which is none of that gamesmanship rubbish. So Lucy, come to you. What's your thoughts, Lucy? What's your thoughts?
So at the time when we signed Pepe, obviously the 72 million price tag is a very big deal to a lot of Arsenal supporters. I think Zaha was on the market for 80 million. So Arsenal being Arsenal, we went with Pepe. I don't know what the reasonings were behind that, whether it was actually because Pepe was first choice. I believe that Emery actually wanted Zaha over Pepe. However, long run, I think Pepe was the right. He fits into the team a lot better than I feel like Zaha would have. Zaha's got the aggression, but I feel like Pepe's got the work rate, and he's quite versatile. Like I said, his work rate is a lot higher, and he's just as good a finisher. It's just I feel like he's lacked game time and confidence recently. So once he gets that Premier League goal again, I feel like he'll be rolling and it'll be fine. I think we always go back to this, we could have had Zaha, we could have had this, but This is what we've got. The Pepe has played for the shirt. Like, give him his credit. Like, he does a good job. The work rate is there. Just let him do his thing, man. We need to stop going back to what ifs. Do you know what I mean? Like, we could have got Zaha. We didn't. We got Pepe, and let's make of it what it is, you know?
That Zaha thing, man, like, I don't think he's even remotely close to getting him, to be honest. So
The rumor was that he wanted to come, but it was the price tag that was the issue. The Pepe was the 72. He was the convenient.
Lil were
cheaper
prepared to
option.
take the installment side of it in terms of taking, not
exactly
a hard,
the whole thing. Yeah.
So as people, yes, now you know I'm not the biggest fan of Mr. Zaha, but such is life.
I like him as a player.
Yeah.
I quite like him at his prime. I would have loved him at Arsenal, but now, like I said, long term, I think Pepe was probably the more consistent option, and it made more sense in my opinion.
Well said, my fantastic panel. People in the chat, Life Stories episode 7 has come to an end. It has been a blast, a pleasure, my absolute delight. Like I said at the beginning of the stream, to assemble the best triple threat strike force in YouTube history to join me tonight. It's been fantastic. Forget Soapland. We've got triple threat land in here. So, no, people, big up to people in the chat. Chat's been lively. Thank you. Like I said, if you haven't smashed the like button, what are you waiting for? Smash it, poke it, kick it, punch it, do what you have to do. But subscribe to the channel. Obviously, follow my esteemed guests on their Twitter handles going along the screen. So before further ado, before I leave, let people, look great. People in the chat's busy, man. Whoa. Wow. This is what I call a Friday night. I haven't been out anywhere. But no, I want to say thank you to my amazing panel. I don't know how I'm going to cope when I get to meet all three of you in the flesh at the same time. I'm going to be overcome with
ready.
Joy. Yeah, I will. I'll be super ready. The fragrances, I've got the fragrance on now, but you can't smell it because obviously I'm in Southeast London, so it's not worth it. But no, it'd be great to meet you guys eventually when it does happen, individually, together, double, treble, whatever. But guys, thank you for tuning in. Penzance Royalty. G, love to see your face again. It's great to see you. Where can the guys find you for your amazing? Oh, you're the podcast side of it now as well. You're going to be an amazing footballer. Where can the guys find you?
Yeah, so just on my Twitter handle there at LilTrigger2, and mainly Mondays and Thursdays on a podcast called the North Bank Summit. But if you follow my Twitter, you'll be able to see when I'm on there and tune in. That'd be awesome. And yeah, thank you so much for having me again. It's been really lovely this evening.
G, you are always welcome. You don't even have to say anything. It's just you just turn up and I'll let you come into the stream. It's fine. But no, it's been amazing to get you on. So people, don't think about it. Go and follow my esteemed guest, Lottie Van Totti. The Cannon Chatter royalty is here today. Big up G and Stephen, of course, obviously. But Lottie, thank you again for coming on for Life Stories. It's great to get you guys on. But Lottie, where can the guys find you?
You can find me at Lottie_B. It's 2 T's, 2 I's, because I can't spell. Someone pinched the name before me, as we say on Cannon Chatter. We're back on Sunday for our Crystal Palace preview. We've had 2 weeks off, so it would be really good to see some new faces in there. And of course, if you're in the chat and you're one of our regulars, see you Sunday.
Well said, Lottie. Lottie, again, like I said, thank you for coming on, man. Always welcome. And last but not least, Lucy, thank you for an amazing debut. Back of the net, Lucy, straight away. An hour and 3 minutes. Yeah. But thank you for coming on. Where can the amazing people find you to check you out?
Yeah, so my Twitter and Instagram are LuceTBH. That's LuceTBH. And I am most commonly on Lee Judges TV, Ladies Podcast, and on the fan cams as well after the games, and also Hybrid Squad on the Wednesday nights. So here and there.
Big up North. And there you have it. Like I said, ladies, thank you once again for coming to the Albert JTV red carpet. The Albert surgery, as they call it sometimes.
Absolute pleasure.
So, people, it's been a great listen. As you have it, your host, Albert JTV, the man with the cap. at AUMO57. Come and check out the channel if you haven't already. And like I said, for people that like my dulcet tones, this will go out on the audio version as well. So I look forward to doing that for you people. But yeah, amazing show. Thank you guys. I guess that is me for now. Albert JTV over and out. #life stories, episode 7. See you later, people.